Alright, so this video will cover speed testing between the Creality Ender 3S1 and the Bambu Labs P1P with a Bambu Studio. Best I was able to manage slicing a Benchy with some of the settings that I figured out, that were on there for PET-G. The time that it's given me for the print time is 32 minutes. With Creality / Cura clone software, it's saying it's an hour and 37 minutes. Print speeds on the Creality Cura were set to 30. The print speeds on the Bambu Studio were set to 200. Both are equal layer heights. The Bambu Studio is at 0.28 and the Creality is at 0.3. And the machines are off. They are going through the print shop right now, setting up. This machine has got some G-code in it in the print head in the Creality software that it's going to go ahead and do auto calibration and auto Z offset. Much in the same way that this little guy is going to do the same thing right now. I'll let you know when they start. It'll take a few minutes for both. Print bed is about to get up to temperature here on this one. This one over here, it's already at print bed temperature, and the print head is about to reach the 260 mark. So this one's a little bit behind in that it's just got the table going, and now it's getting the print head up to temperature. Both of them printing Benchies, and the idea is that what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tune it, and I'm going to bump the speed up to 300% to see if we can catch up to the Bambu Labs P1. The race is on, guys. Let's see how it does. I know it's not a good start for the Ender 3S1. It's kind of lagging a little bit. This guy's already started, but we shall see. I'm printing the Benchy here with Inland PLA, which I bought at Micro Center in Tustin. And so far I've had 3 failures trying to print the PLA Plus from Inland. It's ripped the part off the bed 3 times already and made a complete mess. So this time I put a large brim on it and I slowed down the first 2 layers a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. This machine is now up to temperature and it's going to go through its automatic. I put in G-code in Creality software, so it'll do an automatic Z offset and also an automatic table calibration every time before a print job starts, much in the same way that the P1P does from the factory. All right, whoa, there she goes, moving right along. It's going to go through the auto calibration. This is always kind of freaks me out a little bit. Crazy table jiggle and shake. But Ender 3S1 is going ahead with its Z offset, automatic Z offset. Triple checks every time. Where the Bambu Labs P1P does like a quadruple or something even more than triple checks every point. 1, 2, 3, yeah, triple checks every point. And it does this jiggling action in the middle of the calibration. Don't ask me why. So Ender 3S1 moving right along silently and like a ninja, walking through the night. The silent killer. I love this machine. It's absolutely incredible. What you're hearing is the P1P screaming along to the right of me. All right, I'll get, let's see who finishes the auto calibration first. The P1P had a 30-second or a 40-second advantage. We'll see where it goes. Part of the P1P's auto calibration dance. It's this little random jiggling that it does. Whoa, but the movements are pretty nutty. Slamming the print head right into the table, that just blows my mind. Kind of scary, but yeah, this thing does a lot of scary stuff. Yeah, man. back to the Ender 3S1 and moving right along, silently, quietly doing a table calibration beautifully. I love this machine. Let's see which one does a successful Benchy print test. As soon as this machine gets going, I'm going to go over here into the tune feature and I'm going to crank up the speed up to 300% of the G-code speed. Hopefully it can keep up. And I believe it's about to start printing right now. There's a lot of time where it just chills and it thinks for a minute, this machine. You know, before it gets going or with anything, it's kind of does its own strange little thing. So there it goes. There's a line. It looks like it's adhering. And let's see if it can do it. Okay, so the first line of the brim looks like it's adhering to a table. Last time it was not. Let's see how it does. I told it to do the first layer at 25 and 50 millimeters respectively. Alright, the Ender 3 has now completed calibration and it's about to come over and park itself in the home position one more time, and then it'll go back to the center, one more Z offset, and it'll begin to pinch out in a second. It'll go back to the 0, 0, 0. And the machine's up to temperature, and now the print out begins. It looks like the Benchy adhered pretty good to the table. That looks okay. This one does not have a brim. Let's see how it does. Maybe the fact that it doesn't have a brim will help it catch up a little bit. A couple of issues with Benchy not adhering to the table, so I'm going to tune it up to 260 degrees on the first layer. Looks like it's doing okay. All right, let's see what happens after the first few layers and see how they do. Looks like it's got good adhesion. Let's see how it goes. This one's supposed to take an hour and 3. The Bambu Labs is supposed to take somewhere like 30 minutes, and sure enough, it's saying there that it will take 30 minutes. We'll see who does first. Bambu Labs doing its freakishly, enormously fast things that it normally does. Yeah, man, that's so this Benchy is called Benchy Plus. It's supposed to have a pretty good high flow rate from Inland, which is the Micro Center in-house brand, which is a eSun filament. So right now it's cruising along at some ridiculously fast speeds, and it looks like it's keeping it together. Yeah, that's nice. So this is not a sample Benchy. This is a Benchy that I downloaded and I sliced. The machine is not vibrating as violently as the sample Benchy that's included in the SD card. If you've seen videos of that, you'll know what I'm talking about, but it's still jiggling a little bit. It's not jiggling to where it's disturbing the table, but the top of the machine is vibrating pretty badly. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and crank up the speed, so maybe it'll give it a fighting chance. I'm going to crank up the speed with the tune feature up to 200% on the first few layers. Once it really starts to move, I'm going to go ahead and crank it up to 300%. And we're going to go ahead and compare the two and see how they do. Yeah, This machine, the Ender 3 S1, is available at Micro Center with the first-time buyer coupon for $200. Normally it's around 270 bucks on sale, so it's a phenomenal deal for what you get. The user interface, in my opinion, phenomenal. The little jog dial with a push button, it reminds me of a Haas Mini Mill. It's absolutely amazing, fantastic machine. All right, it looks like the little Benchy has emerged from nothing. It's starting to take shape. A minute into the print job, it looks like it's almost a third of the way down, and it's hauling ass. We'll see how it does. All right, Ender 3 S1 cranked at 250% of the original print speed is moving along pretty quickly. The little Benchy is starting to emerge and looking pretty cool. But the P1P has just left it in the weeds. It's almost like halfway done, and it's crazy. This thing is moving at tremendous speeds. This is not a Benchy that came inside the memory part that comes with the machine to buy. This is a Benchy I downloaded. I set the profile in the Bambu studio for some generic PET-G, and I started messing with the settings, and I sliced it on my own. Print speeds, once it got going, was supposed to be 200 millimeters per second. The first layer was set to 25, and to get it to adhere, and the temperature was set to 260. I'm printing PET-G Plus from Inland, which is an eSun PET-G that supposedly has a little bit better flow rate that it can print at higher speeds. Let's see how we're doing over here on the Ender 3 S1. Yeah, man, it's moving along pretty good. It's 250% speeds. Let me crank it up to 300. Give it a fighting chance. 300% of the original print speed. Now you can really see it move. The table is starting to make some odd little sounds, which I'm not happy about. So on the Creality, so I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. This race just got pretty much settled by the Bambu Labs at P1 over here too. Recommend that the people at Bambu Labs make some printer profiles for all the filament that's for sale at Inland. It's all a bunch of eSun filament. I know, it's a pain in the ass. But if you do not, you're going to get a lot of these returned by customers who are not going to be able to set up the machine properly. So I recommend that you do a very quick update. If you wanted to retail the machine over at the Micro Center, and I thank you for doing that, okay, because I bought this machine because I witnessed it in person doing the sample file over at Micro Center. So, having said that, what do I think? I think it's a pretty amazing machine. The software needs a lot of work. Having said that, gnarly machine, just crazy fast. The software needs to be fully updated. You are now partners with Micro Center, and whether you like it or not, eSun filaments, because that's what Micro Center Inland in-house filaments are, eSun, right? So you need to develop a line of filaments that are a line of profiles in your printer software that basically can handle all the filament that's available over there. And it's only going to be the PLA Tough, PLA Plus, PLA Pro that are going to be able to flow enough or fast enough for this machine, as well as the PET-G Plus. So you need to get down there and start testing filaments, the Bambu Labs folks, before you have pallets of returned machines heading back your way. So the critical part of the Benchy, where it's doing the overhangs around the support structure, it's moving at approximately 200 meters per second. Don't know what the retraction speeds are. They are some Bambu Labs black magic. I have no idea how it's doing this, and there are no streamers at all. There's absolutely no streamers. Absolutely mind-blowing. And this is PET-G Plus from Inland in-house filament. Just to give you an idea of what the failed one looked like. This is what the side of this failed one looked like. I'm presuming it's going to do something similar here. This one got actually ripped off the table. It wasn't failing up here, it just got moved off the table because it didn't have enough table adhesion. Alright, so we'll see what it does here in a second. See how it finishes up. It looks pretty darn good at this point. And the Creality Ender 3S1 is still about a third of the way through. It's printing at 300% print speeds, hauling ass for its normal operations. But P1P just absolutely smoked it, I'm sorry to say. It's mind-blowing. There's a couple little odd things on the side of that surface there, but once I pull it off, I'll be able to see it carefully. Yeah, looks like it's going ahead. Mind-blowing speeds. Holy guacamole. Let's take a look at this guy over here. I like the surface finish on the Ender 3S1 a little bit more, actually, to be honest with you. It's a little shinier and a little bit more consistent. With almost no stringing whatsoever coming out of the 3S1, but I suspect that when it starts doing the little tower of the Benchy, there's going to be some stringiness. Let you know in a few minutes when these guys wrap up. Oh wow, yeah, the P1P is about to wrap up the roof on the Benchy here, and it's moving along at 200 millimeters per second, doing some extraordinarily violent moves. Yeah, the future of 3D printing, my goodness. This thing is absolutely mind-wrecking the way it behaves. Yeah, brother. Total different ballgame. This just blew my mind. Cranking it up to 400% of print speeds on the S1, see how it can handle that. Printing the Benchy. Now cruising at 120 mils per second. Versus P1P cruising at 200 mils per second. Will it be able to catch up? Let's find out. Oh my god. Is this thing going to hold itself together, printing at 120 mils per second? Come on, S1. I got faith in you. The shaking and jiggling that you hear is from the P1P to my right. Yeah, man. Oh, this thing's a weirdo. It's alien technology. That's what Bambu Labs P1P is. It's freaky alien technology. Not of this earth, guys. That's what this is. Oh my god. 200 mils per second. Chugging along. PET-G Plus. Inland. House brand. Basically E-Sun. Yeah. Pretty crazy. I'm gonna just repeat myself here a little bit. If anybody from Bambu Labs watches this video, please create some custom profiles for all the filament that's available for sale at Micro Center, so that when people buy this thing and they buy in-house filament from Micro Center, they don't end up jamming the machine up and they don't end up destroying the machine and then returning the machine. So please get on that. Make sure that every filament that is on sale at Micro Center is covered under the software. And if you can, also please make sure that your Bambu Labs filament is available for sale right next to the machine. ASAP, you need to do that quickly. I'm shocked at the lack of stringiness. This is PET-G, guys. PET-G Plus from Inland. I would say pretty decent. It's up to you. I'm gonna let it cool down and I'm gonna pull it off to evaluate that side surface. The S1, the Ender 3S1 is still ripping away, but now I've got it running at 400% print speed. It's cruising along at 120 millimeters per second, and it's doing pretty good, I would say. We'll compare them both when it's all said and done. Alright, so this is the Ender 3S1 finishing up the print job for the Benchy using PET-G. A little bit of stringiness, so yeah, clearly the settings not ideal, but check out the P1P over here, printing PET-G. It's a strange thing, you know, this particular one that failed, it actually printed very pretty on the side. It had a nice little sheen on it, very pretty shiny side. And this one that didn't fail, which is the one I just did, has kind of a dry look to it. It started out shiny here, dry look, and then as it gets onto the tower, it's shiny again. But the cool thing is that the thing printed Benchy, and there is little to, like, there's no overhang, there's no stringiness whatsoever in between the overhangs. It's just badass. I mean, it just printed friggin' amazing for a Benchy print job. That's pretty cool. Just need to figure out what I did here that made it shiny, and what happened here that made it kind of dull on the side. This is the standard print PLA Benchy that comes inside the memory card of the machine that prints in like 15 minutes. I couldn't get the G-code to do that. My best effort was a 30-minute Benchy. That was my best effort here. Alright, so let's go back to the Ender 3S1. Still proud of this little guy, the way it's rocking along at 200, 300, and even 400% of the G-code print speeds. It's got a little bit of stringiness there. Yeah, you know, it's a traditional like Benchy print. I need to tune that out by tuning the retraction perhaps. But this thing was supposed to take an hour and a half. I ran it at 250% for most of the time, so I presume that it's somewhere a little bit under an hour. So if you crank up your Ender 3S1, if you crank the speed up on it, in theory, it could be half the speed of, there we go, just finished it up. It could theoretically be half the speed of a P1P. The printout is pretty damn clean here on this one. I gotta say, it's pretty damn impressive. Let's go ahead and take this little boat and compare it side by each, so you can check out the differences here. Right, so 200 millimeters per second, that is pretty impressive. And there's a lot of ringing there at 400 millimeters per second, and a lot of deformations around the holes. There's noticeably crisper, sharper lines out of the P1P. And here, the Benchy started to melt a little bit on the tower. And here, because of the crazy speeds, the Benchy didn't get a chance to melt, even though it was running at 260 degrees. Yeah, no stringiness whatsoever out of the P1P. Yeah, it's just this weird, odd, dry look that it has going here on the side. Alright, so it started out nice, and then it got all dry, and then it got the wet look again from the Benchy. I suspect that's because it was working on a smaller area. Probably needs a little hotter temperature down on the other. Let me take that thing off the build plate real quick. I'll be right back. So a closer look at the build quality of the Benchy using the Ender 3S1. So this was at 120 millimeters per second, basically somewhere between 300% of the original G-code and 400%. Right around that the little anchor window there, I cranked it up to about 400% briefly, and then I slowed it back down to 300% when it was finishing up the tower, and I should have probably left it. I think it's pretty cool looking. I like this shiny, glossy Benchy, and it does have a lot of stringiness inside. Suspect I could try to fix that a little bit by playing. Once again, thank you guys for hanging out for my super long video here. I just wanted to show you one last little clip that I wanted to add to this video, which is basically a Creality K1 printing a little Benchy boat using silk PLA from Inland brand, which is the Micro Center in-house brand. If you look closely at that side surface, and if you're thinking, well, I've seen other Creality K1s print perfectly, why is this happening with this machine? Well, what happened was that I lost one of the legs, the little rubber cone legs, and it's now sitting on the tiny little rubber pads, and after that happened, this thing prints kind of weird, and there's nothing I can do with recalibration for the K1, so that's the situation.